Hello, today in Basic Science, we're looking at the topic heat transfer. Heat transfer is defined as the process in which the molecules are moved from a region of higher temperature to lower temperature. Heat transfer is the movement of heat from one substance or material to another. Heat transfer takes place through three principles, through principal mechanism: conduction, radiation, and convection. Heat transfer simply means the act of transfer of heat from a region of lower temperature to a region of higher temperature. That is what heat transfer means. Examples of application of heat transfer: when a metal is placed on a cold metal is placed on top of a hot metal, the cold metal directly gets the heat from the hot metal, automatically transfers to the cold metal. That's heat transfer. The transfer of heat from a region of lower temperature to a region of higher temperature. Another example or another application of heat transfer is when someone who is sick and running temperature is lying down, and then someone who is not sick, comes and stays very close to the person who is running temperature. The heat from the body of the sick person automatically transfers to the body of the person whose temperature is okay. Now, let's start with the principal mechanisms of heat transfer. We'll start with conduction. Conduction is when heat moves from one object to another object through direct touch. For instance, one piece of metal could conduct heat from another piece of metal if the two are touching. Conduction occurs more radially in solids and liquids, where the particles are closer together, than in gases, where the particles are further apart. We have a demo on the screen which is showing us what conduction looks like. This is a metal, a hot metal, and there's another metal that is in direct contact with it. Now, automatically, the heat from this hot metal transfers to this one that is cold. That's heat transfer by conduction. The heat from the hot metal transfers to the other metal that is cold. That's transfer of heat by conduction. Now let's look at another mechanism, which is convection. Convection is the process of transferring heat through air or liquid contents. Convection causes liquids or gases to heat up, expand, and decrease in density. This causes movement of the liquid or gas in a convection current. Convection occurs in many different examples, including feeling a cool breeze at the beach. Convection can also happen when in the cooking process, when you are like the demo on the screen, you have a pot that is on fire. Heat is transferring from the hot stove. Then the pot that is placed on top of the hot stove is getting its heat by conduction from the hot stove. Then the contents in the pot is getting the heat from the pot through convection. There's a liquid inside this pot that is boiling as the heat from the gas is hitting the metal pot. Then the liquid is boiling. That's heat transfer by convection. Now let's look at the third mechanism of heat transfer, which is radiation. Radiation is energy that moves from one place to another in a form that could be described as waves or particles. We are exposed to radiation in our everyday life. Example of radiation is the sun ray that is coming from the sun. The sun, when we are outside, the ray of the sun falls on us, and when the heat from the sun transfers to our body through radiation, the heat did not transfer through direct contact because it didn't come in direct contact to the sun, but it is coming through waves or through the air. Then if you stay under the sun for a while, you see that your body gets hot. The heat has transferred from the sun to your body through radiation. That's the third mechanism of heat transfer. This is what heat transfer by radiation looks like. The demo on the screen is showing us heat transfer by radiation. These This is where the heat is, and heat is transferring in form of particles or wave to this other body. Now let us look at the good conductors and bad conductor. A good conductor is a material which allows electricity to pass through them easily. That's a good conductor. A material that allows heat or electricity to pass through them easily is a good conductor of electricity or a good conductor of heat. Examples of good conductors include copper, aluminium, gold, steel, salt water. These are examples of good conductors. These examples of good conductors. These materials allows heat or electricity to transfer through them to another object easily. Let us look at bad conductors. Bad conductors are materials that do not allow electricity or heat to pass through them. Example of bad conductors include plastic, wood, glass. The images on the screen are examples of bad conductor. These materials do not allow heat or electric currents to pass through them. This has brought us to the end of this discussion today on. Let us look at the assessment section. What is heat transfer? State 2 examples of bad conductors. Drop your answer at the comment section. That will be all for today. Thank you for watching and see you in our next demo.